Good afternoon, ladies and gents. I am Miss Kiana De Castro, one of the Education Services Associate from Vibal Group Incorporated, and I would be your moderator for this afternoon. Welcome to our special webinar series for this afternoon entitled Vibal Homeschool Solutions. Thank you for all the attendees we have on our 4-day webinar series to better educate ourselves on the nature and the nitty-gritty of homeschooling. So, in behalf of Vibal Group Incorporated, I welcome all of you, our attendees in YouTube and in our Zoom meeting with this afternoon's session. So let me introduce to you our speaker. Our speaker today is a former vice principal in an international school in Singapore. He would prefer to introduce himself as simply an educator. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me introduce to you Mr. Joseph Tambio.
Okay, good afternoon po sa lahat. Magandang hapon to all who are tuned in YouTube and those who are, as Ms. Kiana said, those who are blessed, yung mga pinagpala who are joining me via Zoom. Okay, so I was very fortunate to have been invited by Vibal to share some insights and some technical matters on how are we going to go on with homeschooling. I think isa to sa mga words na madalas ng madinig ngayon, no? Homeschooling. I mean, what do we expect to happen in the next couple of months would really be unprecedented. Wala tayong mabalikan na mga pangyayari to check how are we going to do it. Unlike some instances where we can check the past, look what had happened, and learn from it. Dito po sa current situation ng COVID, wala tayong makitang paggagayahan. Lahat base sa kung ano yung nakita nating mga nangyari. And so the best solution is to be proactive. Okay? So Vibal is with us, helping all throughout to provide us, as I have said in my previous talk, alternative solutions. This may not be fit for all, but as I have said personally on a personal note, I am very happy and convinced that what Vival is offering is indeed, at least one of them, is really a very effective solution to address our current situation. So again, good afternoon. My name is Teacher Josh, and let me share with you. I will discuss this presentation with the mindset of a teacher, at the same time knowing from my experience as a teacher, yung mga sentiments din ng magulang, no? Ano yung kanilang mga pinapangambahan, let's face it, at ano din yung kanilang mga questions. Okay? Let's see. I have here the references which I have consulted. And of course, this will be left here after the talk. You can just go over it. Okay. Vival self-learning module comes in a very convenient package. They made sure that it's standalone material. Mahalaga po yon kasi hindi naman lahat ay professional teachers to handle these materials. So very important, I would like to believe that Vibal placed on their mind, those who authored and created these materials, is very simple. Kakayanin ba ito ng isang simpleng magulang na sa kanila lang ito iaasa? Okay? To say the least. But it doesn't mean na iiwanan kayo sa pagkakataong ito at kayo lang. No, it will be guided all at the same time until the end of the module. So it says it's scaffolded, meaning to say there will be guidance. Okay, although it's a distance learning. When we say distance learning, this is not in the confine of the classroom. Although the first point here tells us it still follows traditional classroom formula. By this, I would like to believe it means that the curriculum will still be the same. It is aligned with what the DepEd prescribes. I think that is the most important feature of these materials. It is not going away with what is prescribed. Later on, you will see the relevance of that. Second point is there's a provision for asynchronous learning. When we say asynchronous learning, ito po yung term na nadinig na ninyo. At sa tingin ko, most of you have seen this, at least those who are in the Philippines. Uh, it facilitates information sharing, no? But it's not at the same. It may not be at the same time and at the same place. But the key word here is information sharing. In the case of a student, these are the lessons and other uh, attached matters to what the lesson may prescribe. Okay, and it is tailor fit for discussion and activities for the new normal. Again, medyo gas-gas na yung word na new normal. It will come to a point when it will not be new anymore. But again, as an educator, I still would like to believe. I don't easily buy the idea of the word new normal. I still would like to offer you an understanding that the student remains to be a human being and by nature is social. So, wag pa din tayong agad-agad masanay doon. Kasi it will not be very healthy. Okay? Okay, so I have here a slide. Kung naalala po ninyo itong mga phone na ito, no? 3310 Nokia, no? At sa mga nakaalala po nito, o may mga nagko-comment, no? Kung nakita ninyo ito, pagbukas mo ng box nito dati, o you open the box, bubungad sa iyo yung isang makapal na user manual. And that user manual contains explanation on how to use this mobile phone. Now, if I will ask you, who among you here really went through all the pages and checked? And because it even comes with the description of each keypad for specific function. And this gives us the idea, no? Wala ka namang napagtanungan, but I think 8 out of 10 did not really went through the pages of the user manual and immediately just plug it in, no? Siguro you were given the instruction kung saan ka bumiling tindahan, ang sabi lang, sir, mga 3 hours charging po ah. And then you understood it, you charged the phone, and then after that, you turned it on, and as is, hindi mo naman na-check na yung user manual. So, my point here is, in us human being, we have that innate capacity to understand things. Lalo na po ngayon, no? Madaming mga bagay, they already come as user-friendly. Kahit walang instructions. Kaya hindi na nakakagulat na yung bata na hindi pa nga marunong kung minsan maglakad ay mas marunong nang mag-operate ng cellphone. So again, this is a perspective that I would like to share with you parents as we go on to the self-learning module. Again, the big idea I would like to share with you is independence. No? O Happy Independence Day. Ngayon po ay ika-122 taon ng kasarinlan ng Pilipinas. No? 122nd Independence Day. So, what do you mean? Look at this cartoon. What do you mean I'm not independent enough? Show me how to be independent. I can't be independent without your help. So very ironic. I can't be independent without your help. So how is that? Independence really is when you're able to do things on your own. And along the way, as I present to you the product of Vibal, bear in mind, you know, mapayapa po yung inyong kalooban na lahat po ng materials na ito, once you have it, it will lead you to the end desire. And what is that? For the child to be able to finish a particular year level of academic year. Okay? Yun po yung end goal nun, practically. But the main objective of that is really to help the child be educated in the best way possible, given so many alternatives. Okay. Learning in true sense requires individual guidance, personal attention, and the overall individual efforts of the learners. Alam po ninyo, I started teaching in 2004, but as a professional teacher. But before that, I have been into teaching ministries as a catechist. No? At I can safely say, siguro mga 20 years in total yung teaching experience ko. At nakita ko doon sa mga panahong iyon, uh, hindi naman talaga at the start magsusurvive yung bata without the guidance of someone. It may not be a teacher. It may not be a teacher. No? A guidance of someone. Personal attention, because in the end, learning is always personal. Okay, and it's a point that I would like to raise to you. Learning is personal. Okay, it is always aimed to the individual. Kaya nga po, bilang teacher, and if there are some teachers who are tuned in with us now, you would agree with me if you say, instruction should always focus on the individual learners. Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na yung lesson can be for all. Yes, it may be intended for all, but it must make sure that all the students will be guided in one way or another. Okay, we cannot just presume that this lesson will be for all. It will not be effective. And personal attention to individual efforts and learners. Okay, uh, you must see. That's why teachers will always check the works of the students. Okay, kaya nga po hindi madaling maging teacher. Let's take for example the case of those teaching English. Pag nag-check sila ng mga formal teams, chine-checkan talaga ng isa-isa yon. Okay? I don't know if it's still true. When I was in the Philippines, ang alam ko yung mga teachers na may mga subject na formal team, they would even be given additional honorarium for that kasi hindi madali. It requires attention to individual efforts. Why am I saying this? Because this only highlights that self-learning module is possible. You know why? Because we're talking of the individual person, the individual learners. We must understand, my dear parents and fellow educators, that students, they must know why they are learning. Okay, look at this picture when it tells you, say who we play with, we teach them to talk about places, sports, things we like and we don't like. So we give them, we feed them with what actually we want them to learn. Kung ano yung gusto nating matutunan nila. But in the process of self-learning and individual homeschooling later on, the idea here is it is the individual who will really be exploring what to learn. Okay? Yung idea po na baka kasi kung minsan in the regular classroom setting, it is the teacher imposing what the students must learn. But at some point, medyo nakakaligtaan to ask that very important question, what is it really that the students would like to learn? Later on, I will share with you some insights on that. Okay. Self-learning modules may prove to be a boon, meaning to say beneficial for students due to their enriched features. The term here, this is they are hybrid, no? Pinagsama-samang konsepto na mas epektibo, tumutugon ito sa kasalukuyang pangangailangan, no? It answers current needs of the student because maybe when the curriculum was written, it COVID is not yet present, was not there in the picture. So asynchronous learning may not be on the mind of those who crafted the curriculum. And so, as I have said previously, curriculum is the total learning experience of the student. So, hindi na isaalang-alang na may pagkakataong hindi makakapasok ang bata sa paaralan at ano ang magiging tugon sa ganong pagkakataon. So, self-learning modules prepared by providers, in this case, Vibal, answers that particular needs. Okay? The features are tailored fit to the current demands. Okay? Hindi siya malayo. That's why it will be very beneficial for the student. Okay. They perform the role of an efficient teacher. When the word they here refers to whoever will act. Okay, it may be the student. I'm happy to share with you. This is isa sa mga tula na pinadala ng isa kong estudyante whom I will never forget. No, Arkin sent me this. You know, when you read the poem, it doesn't pertain to a professional. Okay, the first line of the poem speaks about a special person. Okay, so during this situation, we need a special person, and it could be you, dear parents, or whoever to whom you will entrust the homeschooling of your child. Okay, so it doesn't speak of someone who is professional. Kasi po, makalate on, kanina may mga nakita akong nagtatanong, paano kung hindi po kami mga professional teachers? Precisely, these modules were created in view of the inability of a teacher to really carry on the task of the usual education. I was talking to some teacher friend before dito sa Singapore, bago po mag-close ang mga school. Ang sinasabi ko sa kanila, sa mga panahong ito, kakalimutan natin lahat, kung hindi man halos lahat ng mga napag-aralan natin bilang teacher. Kasi yung sitwasyon, hindi ito yung magiging epektibo. So my dear parents, do not be hesitant to take the role of a teacher or the student themselves who can possibly take on the role of a teacher. Okay? So look at this. Because we would like to promote independent homeschooling. I saw this in the internet and hindi ako kakanta, no? Na pinapakita lang dito, there's a bee in the bathroom, what can I do? Don't worry, I'm coming, I can help you. There's a snake in the bedroom, what can I do? Don't worry, I'm coming, I can help you. There's a tiger in the kitchen, what can I do? Don't worry, I'm coming, I can help you. There's a lizard in the living room, what can I do? Don't worry, I'm coming, I can help you. Okay? If you see this, this does not speak of independence. Walang ipinakita dito kung paano matutuluan kung sino man yung tumatawag ng tulong, no? Na matuto. I think I strongly believe that the most important evidence of learning is when a student can really discuss the lesson on their own. It may not be the exact words of the teacher, but at least the concept underlying every lesson they're able to do. Sa situation na ito, dapat naituro na kung paano ang gagawin kung may mga emergency. Pero hindi, palagi lang din sinasabi, I'm coming, I can help you. Hindi binigyang pansin na, don't worry, you can do it yourself. Okay? Students become independent thinkers and learn to accept responsibility. Alam po ninyo, during the home-based learning dito sa Singapore and in some places, kahit sa Pilipinas, may mga naka-online learning. Kung may isang magandang bagay na naidulot ito sa mga mag-aaral is they became more independent thinkers. No? Hindi po madali to go online and click on those buttons at the same time learning. No? Hindi po yun madali. And imagine the situation of a primary 2 student who went on a Zoom class and sitting there for half day, hindi yun madali. Although their parents might possibly be just around them, still it required the student to be on their own. No? Independent. At alam po ninyo, maganda yon, ano? At kasalukuyan, dinidiscuss natin to. Very timely that we are celebrating Independence Day. They will also be independent thinkers, no? Critical thinkers at that. And this is one of the 21st century skills for them to be critical thinkers. Mahalaga po yun. Gone are the days na yung mga estudyante were just fed by the teachers. Madalas kong i-challenge yung mga estudyante ko eh. At pag tinatanong ko sila, I ask them 1 plus 1, they will say 2. Okay? Alam mo, hanggang ngayon, wala pa din ang kapagsabi sa akin. May isa po ba sa inyo, anyone among you here, who even ask your mathematics teacher, why did it happen that 1 plus 1 is 2? Why? The question is why. It's a critical thinking skill. Why is 1 plus 1 2? Why not 7? Why not 6? You know? The question is more important than the answer. That is critical thinking. For them to accept the responsibility na yung pag-aaral, higit sa lahat at kanino man, ay tungkulin ng mag-aaral. It is not the responsibility solely of the teacher. Okay? Especially during this time. Kaya yung picture dito na yung bata nagtataas ng kamay at nagtatanong, ito yung isa sa mga pinaka-epektibong senyales ng bata ay nag-iisip. No? Nalala ko nung batang teacher pa ako, pag may masyado nang maingay ang klase at nagtataas na lahat ng kamay, na medyo naiinis ako. No? But later on, I realized, the more that the students ask question, ibig sabihin pumapasok sa kanila yung lesson. Nag-iisip. Okay? Self-learning modules give the opportunity to develop a good work ethic. Okay? It's a life skill. A knowledge through self-learning module also helps to inculcate self-study habits and self-confidence among students, which are very much essentials to enhance learning. Two important concepts, self-study habits and self-confidence. Alam po ninyo, madami na akong nakitang estudyante na matatalino pero pagka tinawag mo, hindi talaga makapagsalita. Why? Confidence. That's why there are some students na hindi naman din talaga magagaling, but when they stand, they ask questions. It works the same. So if we go on a self-learning module, independent homeschooling, ito po yung mahalagang bagay na matututunan nila. I am not saying na hindi ito natututunan ng bata sa paaralan. I am not saying that. I have high I'm very confident na nade-develop din ito sa school. But given the chance that they are on independent homeschooling, lalo itong mabibigyan ng pansin at mapapalakas kasi ito yung hinihingi ng pagkakataon. Sa klase kasi, pag may mga konsepto silang hindi naintindihan, they immediately raise their hand and ask the teachers, which is good. But in the independent homeschooling modular system, they themselves will be really, if I may say, uh, they will be pushed to that limit to really, on their own, seek answers. And it will give them confidence. Bakit po confidence? Because they discovered it themselves. So gone are the days of teacher who are writing lesson plans. Okay? May mga teacher ngayon na bata, hindi na ito naabutan. They are still doing it, but not the conventional way na chinecheck ito ng coordinator, chinecheck ng supervisor, at ang masakit pagka medyo may mga corrections. Okay? Okay, let's go to the salient features of the Vival homeschooling program and modules. First, be at peace because they are aligned with the K to 12 learning competencies. No? They are aligned with the DepEd learning competencies. If you can see here, this is a lesson in science and speaks of the DepEd learning competencies. What are learning competencies? Learning competencies are the system of instructions that includes also assessments and other things necessary to complete a particular level and topic, okay, per lesson. So if you see, depth-ed learning competencies says describe objects based on their characteristic. Smart classes will simply say it speaks about describing matter. Okay, look at letters E, F, and G. Describe ways on the proper use and handling solid, liquid, and gas found at home and in school. Simply put, by Rival Smart Class, the proper use and handling of materials. So it may not, there are some codes, these are technical codes to refer you to the learning competencies prescribed by DepEd. Pero ang gusto lang nating sabihin, hindi po ito nalalayo. In fact, it is totally aligned with DepEd learning competencies and to highlight the most essential learning competencies. Again, during the home-based learning, only the major subjects will be, during homeschooling, only the major subjects will be covered because they don't need to really cover the entire and the other subjects, the regular subjects. Hindi na yun posible at medyo mabigat na yun sa mga bata. So dear parents, if you go on with the program of Vibal, one thing that you can be so certain about is that it is aligned to K to 12 learning competencies. Okay? I think this is the first thing that you have to consider. May mga ibang provider, yeah, they will come with a very good program, but when you check, nako, baka hindi po align sa K to 12. Anong magiging epekto nun? Later on, if they take the PEPT test, mahihirapan. Hindi nila yun makukover kasi hindi nila maintindihan kung ano yung nire-required ni DepEd. Okay? Okay. The Vival module will also come up with the Springboard. Okay? The Springboard, this will be the starting point. And the bullet point on this side tells us, if you see, the lesson here is about the circulatory and respiratory system. Okay, and another lessons would be in mathematics, in English, and in, I think this one is in Filipino, if not Adaling Panlipunan. It will be inquiry based. You know, it's very important. Iba't iba pong methodology to teach. Inquiry-based and problem-based learning, I think, are very effective methods to start every lesson. You begin with a question. You begin with a challenging task, and that challenging task will lead the students to an understanding. And look at the last bullet point. Vival's self-learning module make sure that they are developmentally appropriate practices. So it is aligned not just with the curriculum, but this one is actually not per level. If you're going to choose, it will be per age because it's very important. So it's not just level appropriate, but age appropriate as well. Why is it important to start the lesson with a springboard using inquiry based? Using the right questions create powerful, sometimes multiple answers and discussions. And Aristotle said that he asked questions in response to other people's views, while Socrates focused on disciplined questioning to get the truth of the matter. So questioning is very important, and you will be provided by this. Mas madali pong uh, maintindihan ng bata pag alam niya yung tanong, no? In fact, there are some theories that says pag yung bata nakakagawa ng tanong na napakaganda, ibig sabihin naintindihan niya yung konsepto. Okay, I'll skip some of this. Okay, to learn, students need to do something. So that's why independent homeschooling is uh, giving way to this. Whereas if it's a regular classroom, yung discussion will be done by the teachers. Okay? In the case of an independent homeschooling, whatever platform you will use, the students will really be challenged to do the things that probably their teacher used to do. Again, this is without prejudice to the teacher's role in educating the students. Why? Because if the students, dear parents, mahalaga po ito, I would like to share with you. If the students are the ones gathering that information, then they are the ones learning it, and student-driven learning cements lessons into the student's mind, making any lesson more powerful with this strategy. Kasi nga naman, sila yung naka-intindi, sila yung with the Vival's module, they will be led into independent doing the lesson. And therefore, iba yon kasi hindi lang sa kanila yun ipinasa, kundi sila mismo ang nakakita nung mga katotohanan na iyon, ng mga lessons in all the subjects that will be covered eventually. So this will lead to the second part. I mean, another part of it would be the discussion proper. Okay? The first bullet point is very important. I remember this when ito yung unang binigay na punto sa akin ng HR dun sa school, unang school na pinagturuan ko. Ang sabi nung, before I was sent off to the classroom, sabi niya, Joseph, tatandaan mo ha, hindi ikaw ang bida sa klase. It must be learner, ang term pa nga niya, student-centered. Student-centered. Ibig sabihin, sa discussion na ito, ang binibigyan ng halaga at ng mas atensyon is the student. If you see, the lesson is on mass and weight, but the activity will really be based on the competence. And as you can see here, later on in the next slide, I will, let me see. Okay. Okay, these are lessons again. They will be asked to do a particular task. Yung lesson at the last part, mga espesyal na linya ng latitude. Okay, so these are discussion. These are the cognitive part of the module. These are lessons in science and in maths. So after the discussion proper, same. Ito po yung kaninang first slide na sinasabi. It will still follow the regular classroom formula. No? Hindi ka naman agad magle-lesson. You'll have the introduction, you have the discussion, and ultimately, you need to do formative assessment. Mahalaga po yung term na ginamit dito. No? It's a formative assessment. It is not summative. Ano po yung kaibahan? Yung summative assessment po, ito po yung nire-record ng mga teachers that will form part of their grades. Pag formative assessment, ang main objective ng formative assessment, as the term itself connotes, is kung ano man yung maging resulta, the teacher will be able to identify strengths and weaknesses of the students. Okay? So in the Vibal Independent Homeschooling module, this will be provided. Again, following the traditional format in the classroom. The typical test pa din po. Okay? So you will have this. So let's see, yung last part, get started, count the objects and identify the digit value. How many snowflakes are there? Okay? Mga pagsasanay, alamin ang mga bansa o mga anyong lupa at mga anyong tubig na tumutukoy sa relatibong lokasyon ng Pilipinas. So hindi naman pa din mawawala yung mga task na ito. It will still be there. And the first bullet point in this slide, my dear parents and teachers, it begins with constructivism. No? Ano po yung constructivism? This is a theory in education that tells us na yung mga bata, bago pa sila pumunta sa classroom, or even before they come to school, they already have prior knowledge. Let's say, if we speak about yung pagsasanay dito in Adaling Panlipunan, talking about directions, hindi naman yung bata pupunta sa school na walang kaalam-alam talaga sa direction. Alam niya na at least kung nasaan ang kaliwa at kanan, ang harapan at ang likodan. So with that prior knowledge, the teacher can see connection. So ang kanluran ay nasaan? Nasa kaliwa ba o nasa kanan? So, when you do the independent homeschooling, my dear parents and teachers, this will be integrated and this will help the student on their own understand the lesson and eventually be able to proceed to the next level if they wish to. And there will also be lesson enders. Okay? You see here, very important is the word application. No? Why application? Because application, according to some psychologists, would be the most effective way to see whether or not the students really understood the lesson. Mahalaga po iyon kasi pag hindi yon nakita sa bata, ibig sabihin hindi talaga naintindihan masyado yung lesson. That's why it has to consider the following. Okay? The bullet point that says multiple intelligences. Bakit po sinasama ito ni Vibal? Kasi mahalaga po sa independent homeschooling or whichever platform you might want to consider, mas nabibigyan ng diin yung pangangailangan po ng estudyante. Kasi mag-isa na lang siya. Okay? With one student, in this case, let's say ako yung magulang, with my child, I would know what his or her specific needs are. And therefore, based on that, I'll be able to come up with an approach. Kaya it is integrative at the same time interdisciplinary. Okay. This one I would like to uh, give more attention because the Vival self-learning module provides the bridge to the traditional classroom and to the new normal. No? So there are three columns here, which uh, talks about the first column is the 6 A's of learning: activity, analysis, abstraction, application, and the student as an active maker. At the end of it is application or assessment. But let me bring your attention to the 5 E's of education. Ito po yung medyo mahalagang maintindihan din ng bawat magulang who will go on with the self-learning module or independent homeschooling, or if you would like to choose with a provider. Okay, so the Kickstarter, the Springboard maybe will provide opportunity for the students to be engaged. Ano po yung engaged part na yon? Nandun po yung pagkakataon upang maintindihan to to see whether or not there is a knowledge gap between what the students already know and what will be the lesson to be taught. Okay? And opening question is always very important. In Vival's module, you will be guided on this, which that's why it's very convenient. And the discussion proper will allow you to really go on exploring and explaining. Ano po yung explore? The explore part in the Vival's SLM covers learning activities. Okay, let's say the lesson is in multiplication, so there will be some suggested activities you will be guided through. Again, it is getting towards independent homeschooling. That's why everything will be taught to you. You will be given instructions on how to carry on with the lesson, and you will be given the chance to to conduct the lesson by yourself. So hindi na po yun magiging mahirap. And if you see this table, super aligned to what standards of education is requiring every teacher, for that matter, to go on with the lesson. And you see, the activity helps the students. Ito po yung, if you see that part, SLM, activity, and then the 5 B's, elaborate. Elaborate here simply is when the student is able to apply what they have learned. Kasi yung traditional na educational system, they will just memorize. But later on, nag-evolve yung concept ng education na no, and anything memorized will soon be forgotten. But if it is understood, the students will be able to apply what they learn. Yun po yung activity. That's why there's always activity. Activity will lead the student to apply whatever they have learned. Let's say it's a lesson on Analing Panlipunan. The lesson is on directions. Okay, north, east, south, and west. Kanluran, Ilaga, Silangan. So how it's not just about the students memorizing this, but they have to be able to see, no? Ito yung common na tanong no? Kung maintindihan ko yan, ano naman ang mahalaga niyan sa buhay ko? What value will it add to my life? Will I be able to use it in practical matter? So elaborate, the students will be able to explain, oh, itong mga direksyon na ito nagtuturo sa akin ng tamang daan sa mga lugar na nais kong puntahan. So it will lead them to a deeper understanding. Same with the lessons in mathematics. If it's multiplication, the teacher can lead the students to, in this case, you parents, concept ng pagbibigay and sharing. So it's a deeper understanding. And then when they're able to apply, highlighted in neon blue here, learners as active maker of meaning. Ito po yung mataas na antas ng pagkatuto ng mga bata. Sila na yung nagbibigay ng kahulugan sa mga natutunan nila. And I'm saying this because Vival's self-learning module is providing these elements. Okay? Nasa huli na yung long quiz and yung PETA, of course, we know as the performance task. But all this will also be covered. Whatever hybrid learning modules you would like to get from, in this case, Vibal. No? So the key features of DepEd 8 to 12 are all there. Okay, as I have mentioned, so it just summarizes the previous slide. Okay, so you have this 6-part: Kickstarter, discussion proper, activity, wrap up, long quiz, beta. Ako personally, I'm excited if I will go on with the homeschooling for any, let's say, kung ako may anak, ano? Nakaka-excite ito kasi makikita ko mismo, tututukan ko mismo yung anak ko sa kanyang pag-aaral. Hindi na lang ako magdedepende ngayon sa feedback ng teacher. It will be very personal. Okay? See, this is Arkin, no? I asked permission from, I think his mother is now also with us in Zoom. Homeschooling success is not making our children into little geniuses. It's encouraging a love for learning while cultivating a heart for God and others. Last night I was doing final editing of my presentation when I saw a post of one of my former colleagues in the school, and I saw this. Mahalaga po yun. It is not to make any of our students experts and geniuses. It is the urging for learning. No? Hindi po pagka yung bata excited pumasok sa school, hindi yan mapipigilang mag-aral. Why? Because they see the value in it. And the heart for others. I think that it's very important to underscore and underline that. So with Vibal, they have specific programs. No, I think they have smart homeschooling. This one is online. This one is online, no, and it covers 10 weeks for 1 quarter. And the details of this can still be discussed later on. You can just get in touch with Vibal. This one is 10 weeks only. I think this will start on Monday. This one is equipped with a teacher. Okay, 1 hour per subject. So you can choose this option from Vibal. Another one is the self-learning module. They have academic books. Okay, they call it academic books. This one requires no internet access or connection because you will be provided with the books itself, the physical books. Okay. Another one that you might want to consider, they have the smart homeschool kit. Ito medyo exciting din because it will cover one school year. One school year, my dear parents. Very good. 5 subjects. Okay. But the parents will be the one to facilitate. The parents will be the one to facilitate. One good thing about this is you will be assisted by Vibal to in collating the documents, the materials, and other paraphernalia necessary to comply with the PEPT. So no teacher. Another thing that you might want to consider, this one is for the school. They have the Learn at Home kit. Kung yung mga school naman kung saan kayo currently enrolled, if they have this platform, then is easier. But the last uh, option, alternative module for you is the happy homeschooling. Okay, this one is for the independent homeschooling. The collation of materials also will be assisted by Vibal. One good thing, as I've said personally, I'm excited with this because you will be assisted not just with the collation of the materials, but you will also be it will be a one-on-one. So there will be a teacher, and mind you, all the teachers that Vival is dealing with are all licensed professional teachers. So you are insured with that. Again, if you are interested with the details of this five hybrid homeschooling program, you can simply uh, get in touch with them and with Kiana later on. So I think that's very informative, no? And at the last point, of course, uh, this this situation will still, of course, entail cost and financial aspect. But I would like to share with you that you know your child's education is priceless. No, wala pong katumbas yung halaga ng ng edukasyon. Kung makikita naman natin na yung mga bata is happy and at the same time uh, able to develop their minds, I am not a professional psychologist, but ang dami ko na ding mga batang nakita who had specific learning challenges. Simple lang po yung formula ko. I just deal with them. I try to know them on another level, and it always works. No? Uh, Develop the passion in learning. So again, independent homeschooling is an alternative for you, dear parents. Okay, now I think I can go and answer some questions. For a child of parents who work 8 to 5, can a high school graduate house helper handle the homeschooling session for a 10-year-old grade 5 student? Okay, again, this is a matter of trust and confidence. No, there is no definitive answer to that question. But if you're, I know of some family, no, na kasi wala talagang naiiwan dun sa bata. Pinagkakatiwala dun sa kanilang, I mean, the word here is trust and confidence. Anyway, 8 to 5 working. So, you can still do the enforcement after na matuduan. Let's say kung si Yaya yung magpa-facilitate pansamantala nung kanyang independent homeschooling. You can still validate. You can still do a follow-up. Okay, so I don't think my personal view in that is if you are confident that that helper of yours can at some point facilitate the homeschooling anyway, you will be provided with the module. I don't see any problem with that. There is no restrictions into that. Sir, is homeschooling still advisable for senior high school students, even for junior high schools, or good lang po for elementary? The Vival self-learning module is from K to 12. So it covers senior high school and junior high school. It's not, in fact, some of their module is based on age. Yung mga books nila, you will choose age level, not academic level. So I think it's still good. Lalo na kung nasa junior high school, yung independence is on another level. Mas madali na yon, hindi na, less guidance. Okay? Sir, I am a parent na hindi po LPT, a licensed professional teacher. Will it be okay for my child to have independent homeschooling? Makikredit po ba iyon ng DepEd? Yes, as I have said, if you choose one of the products of DepEd, of Vibal, I'm sorry, They will help you with the documentation. And of course, since it is aligned with the DepEd curriculum, you'll be able to get the accreditation and equivalency or the PEPT for elementary, then it will be accredited by DepEd. Wala pong problema yan. Okay, Vival is very helpful in that matter. How do you schedule teaching a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old kid effectively, plus an infant on hand? No house help. Nako, ito po yung sa last talk ko. Ang sinasabi ko, ito yung stress level. No? This is not the first time I heard of this. So, again, ang sagot ko nito nung nakadaan is, it's how you value first the time flexibility. No, siguro you give priority ano yung mas nangangailangan dito ng education. Kung 5-year-old, anong level ba ng I'm not so particular now with the level sa Pilipinas. Yung 5-year-old ba nag-aaral na? I think it's not yet, no? Or kinder 1 ba yan? Yung 3-year-old, you have to find way. Kung walang helper, then it's a matter of discussion. If we purchase a package for homeschooling, what is the guarantee of helping the child take the test in DepEd assessment? Will the Vibal Publishing assist us in the assessment of our child? Sir, my answer po is Vibal will help the child in the test and in the requirements of DepEd. So yan po ang commitment ni Vibal. Kasi po bago kayo if you want to take the PEPT, the placement test, you need some documentation. And Vibal is assuring you, dear parents, that they will help you in that. Now, whether or not they will pass the assessment, it's a collaborative effort. You are given the requirements, you are given the curriculum, you are given the materials. Magtutulungan po kayo ni Vibal to make sure that you will pass. Anyway, PEPT is not pass or failure. It will just give you an assessment kung ano na yung level ng bata. Okay, so I'm very thankful. I hope this helps you understand more of homeschooling, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be able to share with you. And on a personal note, any more concern, again, Vival is always there, willing to help, especially in matters of your child's education, which is priceless. Again, always bear in mind that to teach is to know, and to know is to love. Only then can there be an effective education and learning for all. Maraming salamat po.